Hey everyone, I want to share a story that's really close to my heart. It's about love, loss, and finding my worth. This is my story. I met Jessie in college. She was everything I ever wanted. Kind, beautiful, and full of life. Back then, I was just a struggling student, working part-time to make ends meet. Jessie, on the other hand, came from a wealthy family. But despite our differences, our love felt unshakable. We spent hours talking under the stars, dreaming about our future. I remember the night we sat on the college rooftop, wrapped in a single blanket because I couldn't afford to buy a second one. She laughed, calling me the most resourceful boyfriend ever. At that moment, I thought she would always be mine. I would save every penny just to buy her little surprises. A flower from a roadside stall, a handmade bracelet. One time, I skipped meals for 2 days just to take her to a decent restaurant on her birthday. She hugged me tight that night, whispering, "You're the best." I believed that love was enough, but I was wrong. As time went on, things changed. The reality of life started creeping in. I was still struggling to find a stable job, while Jessie wanted the finer things in life. Our late-night talks turned into arguments. She started comparing me to her friends' boyfriends, guys who had expensive cars and took their partners on lavish vacations. One night, she looked at me with sad eyes and said, "I love you, but love isn't enough. I need security. I need a future where I don't have to struggle." Her words hit me like a truck. I knew I wasn't enough for her, not yet. I begged for time, promised her that one day I would give her everything she wanted. But deep down, I could see it in her eyes. She had already made up her mind. That evening, under the same sky we used to dream beneath, she ended things. "I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore," she whispered, turning away from me. I watched her leave, her expensive heels clicking on the pavement, walking into a future without me. That night, my world crumbled. The pain was unbearable. I stopped eating, stopped going out. My tiny rented room felt like a prison, suffocating me with memories. I kept rereading our old texts, staring at the empty chat box, hoping she'd message me, but she never did. Heartbroken but determined, I threw myself into work. I took on extra shifts, studied tirelessly, and built my own company from the ground up. Sleepless nights, hunger, exhaustion. I embraced them all. Pain became my fuel. Every rejection, every failure only made me push harder. Years passed. I transformed my struggles into success. My company thrived. The world that once overlooked me now respected me. I had wealth, status, everything I once lacked. But my heart, it still carried the scars of her departure. One evening, at a high-profile event, I saw her again. Jessie. She looked stunning but different. There was sadness in her eyes. She hesitated before walking toward me. "Is that you?" she asked, her voice trembling. I nodded with a calm smile. "It's been a long time, Jessie." She glanced around at my success, and I could see the regret in her eyes. "You've done well for yourself," she murmured. "Yes, but it came at a cost," I replied. Her eyes filled with unshed tears. I was wrong. I thought money was everything. I left the only person who truly loved me for what I thought was a better life. But I was never truly happy. I took a deep breath. This was the moment I once wished for. Her regret, her realization. But now I didn't need it. I loved you, Jessie. But you taught me an important lesson. Love should never be measured in wealth, I told her. She reached for my hand, but I gently pulled away. "Do you think we could try again?" she whispered. I smiled sadly. Some wounds heal, but they leave scars. I've learned to live with mine. I wish you happiness, Jessie, but my path leads elsewhere. She watched as I walked away, realizing she had lost the one person who truly loved her. And for the first time in years, I felt free. As I drove away that night, I looked up at the sky, the same sky under which I once cried for her. But tonight, It wasn't sorrow I felt, it was peace. And that, my friends, is how I learned that self-worth is the greatest wealth of all.